Hey y'all, I am back with another episode of Dark Girl Chronicles. I am at the house today. It is the 4th of July. And so I said I was going to do a Dark Girl Chronicles episode because I ain't done one in a minute. And, some stuff has happened. A little bit of stuff has happened. But, um, I had time off today and I was like, well, I kind of already put on makeup and because I was doing something earlier for my makeup stuff for Budget Beauty. And so I was like, well, I'll go ahead and do Dark Girl Chronicles since I got my face on a little bit this morning. So here we are. Hello. Hi. I'm alive. I also got a new a snowball ice microphone. I got another one. So back in the day, probably like 2017, 2018 or so, I bought a snowball ice microphone for Gaming Insurrection. And so just to like record stuff for that. And so I had it for ever and ever and ever. And then I went to go try to use it. I have a Dell laptop now that's like Windows 10. And so I tried to use my microphone when husband and I were going to record some stuff for Gaming Insurrection. And it did not recognize my microphone at all. Like, it did not at all. So I had to buy a new microphone because apparently they stopped supporting that specific microphone that I had. So I was like, are you serious? I was like, okay, all right. So I did get another one and I got a white one this time. So you guys see it. It's this one. It's real nice. I like it. I've not, this is my first time actually using it. So we gonna see. I had to like fix the settings. And I was like, why is it not recording sound? That's a problem. I was like, that is a definite problem. So yeah, no, I got the settings fixed real quick. I just had to go in because I use OBS. If I'm at my desktop, like I'm sitting here, my laptop here, I use OBS on my laptop to record, or I use my phone. Because I don't have a camera anymore. I don't have like a dedicated camera anymore. I just once my cameras died, I just didn't buy any more cameras because my phone is a very good camera now. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Yeah, it's got a fantastic camera. So so much that when I record with it, I have to turn the settings down because otherwise it will not let me pull my video in because it's too big. So I just realized the other day because I had a problem with doing some video for Budget Beauty, and I went and I did the video and then couldn't pull it into Windows to edit because I have my editing software on here. And I went to go do it and it was like, what video? And I was like, no, I'm sitting here looking at it on my phone. I couldn't see it in Windows Explorer at all. And it was like, what video? And I was like, I have video here. And they were like, no, you don't. But it's too big. I was like, okay. So when I split the video up, and that's how I know it was too big, because when I split the video, I had to use iMovie to split it on my iPhone and then import it in two parts, export those two parts, and then pull it in and then edit it and put it back together. I was like, for real? But it showed up once I split it into two videos. So I was like, are you serious? So yeah, aggravating to say the least. So yeah, no, not too much going on. I did have I got my EPMS at work, which is like our performance evaluation, my yearly performance evaluation, and it was good. It was good. I'm always nervous about that sort of thing, even though I know throughout the year how I'm doing. I talk to people, give me feedback and on my work and all, and so I know that like my work is good. It's and they noted that I have made massive improvement from just like a year ago. Like it wasn't terrible a year ago, but I'm learning a new role. I'm learning how to do the job in addition to the new role, and the new role has a lot that comes with it. So as a senior auditor, I have to like manage people and also do the tasks of a senior auditor. So which yes, managing people is included in that, but I have to like make request lists. I have to manage the engagement. I'm learning to lead an engagement on the side that I want it to be on. So, like I say, I've talked about this before, and I do not want to get too much into detail, but I do auditing, and so in my office we have two types of auditing. And well, I say they're types of auditing, but they're I mean it's like compliance auditing, and then it's like I guess well, it's compliance auditing, and then it's like we audit for the rate for that nursing homes receive. So and I like I do not want to get it because we just had a whole thing about like security awareness. So it's interesting in that one side is compliance. Like, are they complying? Are state agencies complying with policies and procedures that they have in place dealing with their financial records? Are y'all doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you when you reported this, you told me that this is what you're supposed to be doing. I'm looking at your records. This is what I see. So why is there a difference? I need you to explain to me why there's a difference. So it's that kind of stuff. So on one side, and then on the other side, nursing homes get reimbursed for their expenses, and so we're auditing that rate that they are being reimbursed, and that's the gist of it. And so we look at their financial records and we figure out whether or not they're supposed to get what they're supposed to get. So that's very niche. I'm gonna tell y'all, it's very niche. And I wanted to be on the side where we do nursing home audits. So I really enjoy it, and yes, I'm using the incorrect term because it's not an audit; it's an examination. But we're gonna call it an audit for the purposes of what I'm talking about right now. Um, I enjoy doing the Medicaid side. I actually enjoy doing the state side, state agency auditing too. I do. It's not once I got into it and started doing it and I started learning it, and I work with really good people who know what they're doing, who want to teach and who want to show how to do this. It got much easier, like much easier, and I could understand what I was doing and I could make the connections and be like, okay, all right, so I know when I do this, I need to do this next. I need to ask these questions. I need to talk to these people and ask these very specific things. So, learning how to do all of that, starting as an associate, because when I did stateside stuff, I was still an associate. Um, then I got promoted to auditor. Now I was a little bit further along and I was still doing a little bit of stateside stuff every so often. So when I would come back to stateside, it was like, okay, I kind of sort of see where we're going with this, kind of. And then I got promoted to senior auditor last year. So I've been in my current role as a senior auditor for like a year now. Um, I then I started definitely making the connections and I was like, oh, okay, now I know what we're doing here. Okay, this makes sense now. I've now done all these audits, all the four, because we have four different types of audits that we do in our office. I've done all four of these audits multiple times now. Okay, so now it's starting to click and I know what we're doing. And I could start explaining it to other people. So, yes, in a sense, I am learning the role, but I am expounding on the role that I'm in now. I'm starting to expound on the stuff I had before, and now it's more nuanced, and now I'm leading it and teaching other people. It's been a trip. I will say that. Um, when I first started, and I was on Medicaid because I first started on Medicaid, which is what I'm doing now. I had no experience with it whatsoever. I didn't know what a cost report was. I didn't know what the reimbursement process was. I had never done a Medicaid examination. I had never even gone to a nursing home. Okay. Then, now 4 years later, because my 4 year anniversary, I'm looking at the thing, is July 4th now. So my 4 year anniversary is, I want to say, it's July 19th. So my 4 year anniversary, by that point, I've been promoted to senior auditor. I can explain the reimbursement process from start to finish. I can even tell you a lot of the nuanced part of it. Now, there's some stuff I've not done, and I'm just now learning how to do it. So some of the basic stuff I hadn't done, because I would come in on a part of an engagement and then go back to the other side, and so I would miss some things. Then I would come back in on a certain part of an engagement and then come back on the other side. So I had to learn it in pieces. And it's just been, I can tell y'all, it's just been in the last year or so, actually the last 3 months, that there are like super basic parts of what I am doing permanently that I just got. Like, there's a whole thing for Medicaid examinations. They have a cost standard. And so they set this cost standard, and they're like, okay, based on how many patient days you had, based on where you are, based on what you're reporting your expenses, this is what we say you should have. And then this is what you're reporting. And we think that there's a variance there. So that's a cost standard. And if they're over this cost standard, they're capped, what's called capped. Okay. So I was like, wait, what does this mean? Like, I had seen it a million times. I had to keep asking people, what does it mean to be over standard and under standard? Like, I'm not following this, because I hadn't done it. So I'd never done that piece of it where it was talked about and explained in detail. So it was like, what do you mean? So it took me reading on my own. On one weekend, I had to read on my own, and then we had to do a training where we were teaching newer folks about the exact same thing. So it forced me to sit down and learn it, is what it did. So once I learned it, I was like, oh, I got it. I understand what this means. I completely understand what this means now. It took almost 4 years for me to get this. Because I did what was called pooling. And so I pooled, meaning I was in a pool of staff who, at any given time, you could put me on stateside engagements, and then you could put me on Medicaid engagements. And so, and then I would go back and forth. And I went back and forth for 3 years. So, and I knew that taking the job. This is one of the things that bothers me about some of the folks in our office sometimes, especially when it came to the pooling concept. I was like, y'all, they hired you based on when you were hired. They hired you. You knew you were going to be pooling. It's not like they did a bait and switch. They got you in here and told you were going to be permanent. And then you got on the job. You actually started the job, and you got on the job. And then they were like, oh, actually, by the way, you're going to go over here and help with stateside if you came in as Medicaid, or if you came in as stateside, they're going to like, oh, no, you got to go to Medicaid for like 6 months. It wasn't that they pulled a bait and switch on you. They told you you were going to be on, like you were going to be pooled. So I don't understand what the problem was. And yes, now, on the other hand, I do understand. My problem with them was they did pooling. The way they did pooling was kind of haphazard, and it didn't really, the execution, the concept was great. It was. And I promise you, the concept was really good, because in the event that we have another 2008 type of foolishness where folks get laid off, you are way more valuable if you can do both sides. As one of the senior managers who is, he's my mentor. he's my very reluctant mentor. I was like, no, you don't have a choice. You're going to be my mentor. But as he pointed out to me, because we were talking about it, and I was like, I don't have a problem with pooling so much in that I don't mind learning the work. It's just that, because I'm going to go where y'all tell me to go. Listen, if you tell me to go down there and count seats at the ball field and get back to you with a spreadsheet and some statistics, okay, I can do that. Like, it does not matter to me. So long as y'all pay me what you owe me and you pay me on time, I'm cool, because I got bills. Okay? Listen, I got bills. So, yeah, no, I don't care. Like, none of that matters to me whatsoever. I just want to make sure that I'm doing work and that what I'm doing is a good contribution. But my problem with pooling was the execution was not where it should have been, in that we did it for too long. 2 years is about as long as you need to do it. Yeah, 2 years, and or you were doing you're doing a specific engagement like twice. Because by the second time you see stuff should start to be like, oh, okay, I'm familiar with this now. Like, okay, we do 4 types of engagements. We do Medicaid examinations. We do AUPs, which is agreed upon procedures. We do single audit, and we do ACFR, which is the annual comprehensive financial review. Okay, so it's the state's financials. All right, so this is my problem. By the time I had been there 2 years, I'd done all of those at least twice. Well, no, I take that back. I hadn't done ACFR twice. I'd done it once. But I had at least, the part of what I was doing was actually really good, and it was a good teaching tool for me. So I was familiar with it. By the time I did it the second time, I was like, all right, now this is starting to look real familiar now. Though the second time I did it, I was a little lost until my other reluctant mentor got there, and I was like, God, what am I supposed to be doing? And he was like, here, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is how you get started on this. Now, once he got me started, I was fine. I could do whatever I could do, and I did what I needed to do. I was sitting there with him while I was doing it, but like I could work independently and do what I needed to do. So I've now done that particular engagement 3 times. I did it in 22, 23, and 24. I will probably not do it this year because I am permanent Medicaid. So once you're permanent side, especially like me, I'm permanent Medicaid, I'm not doing ACFR. ACFR is on the other side. So they probably won't come and get me. I'm being in a Medicaid engagement anyway. So I'm not anticipating doing ACFR this year. Now, however, that being said, we're also in AUP season right now, and I am not doing AUPs either. I am doing Medicaid. So we're fine. I'm doing a Medicaid engagement right now. But I am also, now, that all of that being said, I will probably be doing single audit again. And I have now done, this will be my 3rd time doing single audit. Because I did single audit 22 for 23. I skipped 23 for 24, but then I did 24 for 25. So now it'll be 25 for 26. So yeah, I'm anticipating doing single audit. I've been told that I will probably be doing it, which is fine. It's fine. It's auditing, it's work. Okay. And it actually helps me be a better auditor. So I can make the connections between single audit and Medicaid. And I try to help, especially when in my role as an in-charge and teaching people, I try to make the connections so that they understand when they're doing single audit and they're working on Medicaid, they can make the connections too. And they go, oh, yeah, we did talk about this in single audit, didn't we? Yes, we did. And then this is how you would connect it to that. So, anyway, so my evaluation, let's talk about this evaluation. So the evaluation, they pointed out that I do that where I make the connections between the two sides. That I am just starting out on permanently on the side that I want it to be on, and that I have massive. No, they noted massive improvement. That I'm making connections and I'm making good progress. I'm on the right track, and that I mean they recognize that I've been kind of hampered by pooling, in that there are some basic Medicaid things that I don't know that I should know at this point as a senior auditor, but I don't. And it's through no fault of my own that I don't know these things. So, and that I do take the initiative to learn. And I do. I do take the initiative to pick up the work, learn the why behind it, learn the how behind it, and then explain it to other people when it comes time for me to explain it. So it was a good evaluation. They noticed some areas of improvement for me to work on, which I'm like, listen, you tell me, what do you think I need to be working on? And I need to be self-aware in that regard too. So I know there are things I have to work on, such as I am a very social creature. I just am at work. Okay, let me qualify that. At work. At the house, super social too. But outside of the house, I don't like people. So I don't go out as much. And y'all know during COVID, well, we did not fool around out in the street. And we didn't deal with people in general because people are nasty. So I was like, nope, I don't need to be out in the street. I don't need to be around people. I don't need to be all up underneath people. I'm not the type of person that likes to go visiting either. But when I'm at work, super social. I am quite possibly, it's me and one other person that's probably the most social person in the office. Actually, I take that back. There's a third person because my work buddy is, he's super social too. Cause I swear, I'm like all day long he talking to somebody. If it ain't me, he talking to somebody else in the office. And then we may have lunch together. It depends on what we got going on. But we may or may not have lunch together. But I'm probably gonna talk to him at some point during the day. If I don't talk to him face to face, he IMing me, or he texting me, or I'm IMing him, or I'm texting him. It's something we're gonna talk at some point during the day. We did not talk yesterday. And we haven't talked today because he's out of town. But for the most part, he like the third. I think maybe between me and him, we probably the most social people on staff. Now, one of the directors is super social too. So, yeah, he's very much a social guy. So he's extroverted. He's extremely extroverted. So he's very much he's probably the other person. So it's the three of us. So my thing was, I was like, I know that I have a tendency to socialize a lot. So as Chris Evans said about Anthony Mackie, actually no, it wasn't Chris Evans. It was Sebastian Stan said this about Anthony Mackie when they were on set for Winter Soldier. There's a 10%, whatever Anthony Mackie is on set, there is a 10% drop in productivity on set. Immediately built in 10% drop in productivity because he ain't getting no work done. That is pretty much me. If I am at work, no work getting done. If I'm at the house, all the work gets done. I can be in here, I can be sitting in here or in the kitchen working, all the work get done. All of it. But at work, oh nah, I'm probably procrastinating. I'm over there distracting work bestie. Like, I am not doing any work. Senior manager will come back. My mentor will literally come back. Are you doing work right now? No. So he's like, you got done what you were supposed to be getting done? No. I'm taking a break. Okay, well, hurry up with your break. Get back to work. or I'm in his office talking to him. So yeah, no, I try to be my goal when I started this job, um, because I realize I am an extroverted introvert, in certain situations. Um, I can be extroverted, especially with family too. So, especially like with my husband's family, that side of the family, I am I can be extroverted all day long. I can go to a party and be fine. But now once I leave that party, and after a certain point at the party, I'm like, all right, now it's time to go on home. Now you gotta pack it up because because my social battery has run out. It is time for me to recharge the social battery. Now my husband, on the other hand, is a party person. I said your middle name shouldn't be what it is. It should be party time because my husband is the most social person I have ever met. He is the most extroverted extrovert I have ever met. He is the sweetest baby, but he is the most extroverted person. um, I told him, I said, you wake up on like 500 every day. And living at home with him, it is never dull. Y'all have seen our courtship, so y'all know it's never a dull moment in this house with him. Never. So when he get home, he walk in the door and he's like, how was your day? What did you do all day? And I'm like, I did stuff. I did work. And he's like, I forgot to ask you about how you did. Sometimes he will forget. He forgot to ask me yesterday how my day was. So when I got home, because he was all jumped up and excited because we had some foolishness going on down the street. And so he was all jumped up and mad, and he went to talk to the neighbors, and I went to talk to the neighbors because I was like, wait for me to get home. I'm like 2 minutes away. Go get my flip-flops. But because I had on shoes, and I was like, go get my flip-flops and I'll meet you outside and we'll go talk to the child. He was so jumped up and excited. Oh goodness, he was just mad, and he was like, well, because our neighbor is a widow, and on top of that, she's elderly. So she was upset about the foolishness going on, and so he was upset because she was upset. And then her son was over there, and he was upset. He was fixing to go fight somebody. So yeah, it was a lot of excitement yesterday when I got home. And so husband was just jumped up wanting to fight. And I was like, Brandon, wait for me to get to the house. I'm literally turning on our street right now. I was on the phone with him the whole time. But yeah, no, he immediately went over to check on her, and so my husband is and my husband, y'all know my husband is a good man. That's a good man. He has referred to himself as a cinnamon roll. I was like, what's this? Why are you a cinnamon roll? I was like, why are you a cinnamon roll? And he's like, because cinnamon rolls are sweet. And I was like, okay. I was like, I can't really argue with that. No, okay. Work bestie said he's a golden retriever. If he were a dog, he'd be a golden retriever. He'd be a golden retriever. He would very much be a golden retriever. Yes. If I were a dog, I'd be a Frenchie. I would be a French bulldog. Because they're weird. and they are potatoes. And I'm a potato. I would be a Frenchie. The work bestie has a Frenchie, and that he said that yes, that's an accurate assessment. I don't know. I don't know what work bestie would be. I think he would be also a golden retriever. I think he would be a golden retriever also. Because he can be really sweet when he want to be, and then when he don't feel like being sweet, I'm like, where are you right now? You are down the street, aren't you? Come on back now. You out there in Elgin. I need you to come on back down the road now, because you out there. Like the little robot man is on fire right now, isn't he? Because you are on one today. But no, yeah, so I mean, like the feedback and stuff, they gave me feedback, and I was like, yes, I know I need to work on my socializing. They were like, we know that you want to have a good relationship with your coworkers. I, we are all for that. Please develop good relationship with your coworkers. But I was like, I know, I gotta rein it in. So yes, that's one thing. I personally have a goal for staying time on task. Because as y'all know, and over the years, y'all have seen me with Dark Girl Chronicles, I am very likely undiagnosed ADHD. Very likely. Um, as a child of the 80s and looking at these children of the 90s and these children of the 2000s, especially the children of the 2000s, you can tell our ADHD. You can pick up on the traits of the ADHD in yourself by watching some of these 2000s kids. And I'm like, I think I might have ADHD. And as a child of the 80s, I don't know anybody my age or close to my age that does not have something going on. I think it was something in the water, to be quite honest. I really do. Also, some of the parent habits. So, like in my case, I'm pretty sure I'm undiagnosed ADHD and maybe a little touch of autism there, maybe a little touch. But definitely ADHD immediately springs to mind because as a child, I had a lot of issues that now you would recognize as signs of ADHD. Um, I was super hyperactive, very hyperactive. Like it was, I can remember being in this house, being in this room and doing stuff like just all over the place. And being up, I didn't sleep. The hyperactivity was a problem on top of I didn't sleep. So I didn't have to take medication or anything, but pretty sure there's a meme where it's a little raccoon and he's got a little hat on, a little cowboy hat, and he got a little pistol thing on his hip, and it's super cute. But it says undiagnosed, but everyone's pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure. Um, I then the reason why I say a little bit of autism, maybe a little bit of autism, because I had some odd traits dealing with sensory issues, like colors. Certain colors made me angry. Like I didn't want to look at like it, and it would give me. I would be weirded out by certain colors. Not just so much angry, because they said like red implies anger. Um, but like stuff like purple. Purple gave me the creeps. Okay, let's just be honest. I didn't like yellow. I didn't like purple. Green was kind of odd too. I felt some type of way about green, but I wasn't really 100% sure about green. Now green is like one of my favorite colors. Um, I didn't have any problems with black. White though, white tended to give me problems. Mostly because I would see white color things and I would be like, I don't like that. And I couldn't explain why I didn't like it. It was just something in my brain would just be like, we don't like that. Don't touch it. It was weird. The weird thing is I had clothes that had white in them. So it doesn't make sense. Like I would wear white tights. I would wear white sundresses in the summer. Like it was crazy. And you see, I have something with white on right now, and it does not bother me. As an adult, I'm fine. No colors really bother me. Things don't bother me, but certain patterns do. As a child, I would break out in hives from certain patterns. Like it was weird. I'd start itching randomly. And mom was like, "What the world?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, mom. I don't know. I don't know." Food especially. The major one. I know a lot of people have a problem with, especially if they have sensory issues. It's with food or certain fabrics. Fabrics too, but food. I'm gonna touch on food for a minute because food was weird. So, like bread. I know the best example I can give people when they ask, what do you mean like food sensory issues? Bread. Bread used to just piss me off. I would be angry about bread. And it was weird. I'm like, but yes, children have preferences about their food. You know, children are very picky eaters. Okay, they can be. Some of them not. They just eat anything you give them. In my case, I was a picky eater. Okay, up to a certain point. I remember having bread, and my mom would make me a sandwich. And when I said sandwich, I didn't mean bread with meat and cheese and condiments and things. I meant meat and cheese and maybe some condiments on the meat, but no bread. And I remember her fixing me a sandwich one time, and this was before I verbalized this, and this is when I verbalized it. She fixed me a sandwich, and because I said, "Mommy, I want a sandwich," and I knew what a sandwich was, so I was like, "Mommy, I want a sandwich," in the kitchen, in this house. And so she goes and she gets the bread, she gets meat, cheese, all that, okay, mustard, and I think she gave me mayo. I take that back. Probably no mayo, because at that point I'd already eaten half the jar of the freaking Miracle Whip, which turned me against mayo. I was very dumb and a very curious child sometimes, and so I ate half a jar of Miracle Whip, and I learned my lesson because my mom was like, "Ooh, you gonna be toe up," and I was. Stomach just tore up. Anyway, so she gives me this sandwich. She makes the sandwich. She gives it to me. And as soon as she gave it to me, I started taking it apart. Now, I sat there and watched her make the sandwich, mind you. Did not verbalize that I didn't want the bread. So I'm taking it apart. And she's like, she just kind of made that face like, "What are you doing? Why are you taking that apart like that?" And I was like, "I don't want the bread, Mommy." And she's like, I said, "I want a sandwich. I don't want the bread." She was like, "But that is a sandwich." Like, imagine arguing with like a 5-year-old here. She's like, "But that is a sandwich." "No, I don't want the bread." She was like, "But then that's not a sandwich." "No, a sandwich has the meat and the cheese. That's it." She was like, "I know you ain't here finna mess up my bread and you finna waste this bread. Give me this bread." And she was like, "Why don't you want the bread?" And I'm like, "I don't like how it feels." Just as plain. I don't like how it feels. And just as plain as I'm eating the meat and the cheese. And what I would do is I would take the meat and the cheese and roll it up and eat it that way. And Mom was like, and the crazy thing is I look just like my mom, so I promise you the face I'm making is the exact face she made. Because it's a mirror at this point. Y'all, she was just like, "What do you mean you don't like how it feels?" I was like, "I don't like how it feels. It feels weird." She was like, "Tastes weird? Feels weird." Like, I repeated it. I knew exactly what I meant. Like, I didn't stutter. I knew exactly what I meant. Yeah, no. She was like, and that was the point at which she was like, she was just like, "I wonder if me smoking had created some problems here." Me smoking while I was pregnant created some problems. It was odd. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It was odd. So food wise, and the crazy thing was too, just to put a coda to this. The crazy thing about it was I ate sandwiches otherwise. When we went to McDonald's, I ate a cheeseburger Happy Meal. Tell me how that makes sense. I don't. 5-year-old me is 5-year-old me is complicated. Let's call it that. Because I was like, when I got to be older, and I remember her telling me, she was like, "You didn't like bread you didn't like sandwiches. You like meat and cheese, but you didn't like the bread." And I was like, "Really?" Now I have no problem with it. As a grown person, I eat sandwiches all day long. I go get a sub sandwich all day long, y'all. It don't make sense. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So, and she was like, yeah. And we went to McDonald's and you ate McDonald's all the time. I got you a cheeseburger Happy Meal all the time from the McDonald's that's literally up the street from my house right now. Like, it does not make any sense. That made no sense. So, that is what made me go, okay, that's not just picky eater foolishness from children. No, there's something else going on there. Different fabrics. I still don't. I don't like suede. I don't like how suede or velvet feel. I don't like suede or velvet. Even as an adult, I tend to not buy suede things, and I don't buy velvet things. Now, yeah, no, I don't really buy velvet things either. Now this like I got a blanket sitting here with me. This blanket isn't velvet and it's not suede. It's a cashmere. It's real soft. I don't mind cashmere. But I don't like velvet things, and I don't like I don't like suede. I have some suede shoes. No, actually, you know what? I don't have suede shoes. I have velvet shoes. They're like velvet blue shoes, and I did not realize they were velvet until I got them, and I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to touch it. And I promise y'all, I was like probably late 30s, early 40s when I bought them. So yeah, I knew then. I was like, that's a problem. But yeah, no, a lot of and if I were going to, I don't know about the autism, I would say probably mildly, very mildly. It's not severe. It obviously it's not severe. It's not moderately either. Same thing with the ADHD. It's there, and I can tell, and I can feel it. And as an adult, I can feel it, and I can tell when something is making it be more pronounced. I can feel that, and I know, oh, okay, all right, we're all over the place. You gotta, and that comes from years of being able to, one, mask it, and two, cope with it and learn things that help with doing that. But now for the ADHD, a lot of other things start adding up too. Time blindness. I have massive time blindness. I cannot tell you what 5 minutes feels like at all. There's no way that I could tell you what that physically feels like. Like I can't tell you, oh, all right, in 5 minutes, I'm going to do blah, 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 because it feels like it's been 5 minutes. No, I have to have a clock. And like right now, I have a clock sitting here. I have to have a clock. I have to be looking at it in order to go, okay, it's been 5 minutes. Yeah, no, I cannot. Telling time was also a problem as a child. Massive problem with time. Math was a problem also. Dealing with time. Time is math. So basic math. I had problems with both of them, especially with math. Math was a very concrete subject for me, and my brain didn't work in concrete. It did not. Concrete concepts, I had so much problems with, because for me, there's one way to do this with math. In my mind, there's one way to do it, and I have to get the right answer. Whereas things that I'm very successful with, abstract concepts, very much there's more than one way to do something. So language has multiple ways that it can be interpreted, it can be written, it can be spoken, you can figure something out, and it context clues, and so I'm fine with that. It's very abstract in my mind. I can deal with that, and I'm very good at that. But math, no, it's a concrete subject for me. So math was always hard. Now, as an accountant, it's basic math. I can do basic math. It took a long time for me to get math concepts. But once I got the basic math concept, I was fine. That's why I can be an accountant and be fine. Also, accountancy is a lot of reading. There's a lot of, it's basic math, but there's a lot of writing that goes involved with it, but especially if you're doing compliance. So that's why I'm fine with accountancy. Like, I can do that. But like, if I were going to go be a math teacher, no. I'd have to learn that, and then I'd have to sit there and learn it and learn it and learn it and learn it. Like, I'd have to constantly be doing it in order for me to get it. I'm trying to think what else. Beyond the hyperactivity, the time blindness, procrastination. I have problems with that. Organization. Now, once I get something going with the procrastination, I'm fine. I will sit there and I'll work on my little project by myself and I'm fine. It's the getting started part that's the problem. So and I learned that a long time ago, but once I get started on a project, I can do independent projects. And as a matter of fact, I probably should have been, when I was in college, I probably should have done independent projects myself. And this is probably why I will be good on Medicaid side with my work, because I am good at taking an independent project on my own, which would be like a nursing home engagement, taking that and running with it. I be on top of everything. Okay, I know what's going on with this, and this, and I'll keep up with the status and all of it. Learning all of that is the point here. But once I get started and I get going on my own, I probably will be fine. Listen, they'd be like, you can't do all of that stuff just yet. Because I can tell y'all, I demonstrated this when I did an AUP. There was an AUP I did last year when I was doing AUPs and I was learning how to in-charge them. Y'all, I did all the work papers. I went in and tried to do all of the work all at once. And she was like, you have to wait for that one. You can't do that one and you can't sign off on it because you have to have somebody else. You can only do down to like a certain point. She was like, it's great that you went in and you looked at the binder and you took the initiative to do, but you can't do all the work. I so tried. I did. I was so proud of myself. I went in and did. I worked on a Saturday. I went into the office and worked on a Saturday. It was quiet in there. I was just quiet as a little church mouse, just doing the work. And she came back and she was like, why was all this stuff signed off? And I was like, I did it all. She's like, no, what did you do? And I was like, I went in and I filled in this part and I did these and I signed off on it. And she was like, no, it's great that you did it. I get where you're going and I'm glad you took the initiative and you looked at this and you tried to do the work and followed, what you were supposed to be doing with this. But you can't sign off on some of these things. And I'm like, oh. So, this upcoming week, speaking of work again, this upcoming week, I am going to be in charging by myself. My manager and my senior manager are going to be on vacation. So I'm like, everything going to be on fire, but it's going to be fine. So we talked about what could be worked on, what doesn't need, what we're still waiting for stuff. We should be fine. And, I have my list of things to do. I also have 2 staff members working for me. So, I'm having to delegate responsibilities to them. And, I'm going to be reviewing work, that they've already done, that needs to be reviewed. So I'm excited. I'm very much excited. I'm like, well, while the cats are away, the mice are going to be trying to not let everything drown and and everybody die because we didn't pay attention to what we were doing. So I'm going to figure out how we're going to get things done and keep the engagements moving. That's my main concern, is to be able to keep them moving while they're gone, so they're not just sitting there stagnant, and we get work done. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to be in charging on my own for a little bit, for a week. We're going to try to be early to work. Same time that my staff members are going to be there, I will be getting there and trying to get there and get the work done that I need to be doing. I have to-do lists for myself. That's also another thing that I learned as an adult and as a child, because my mom didn't have ADHD. I'm fairly certain my dad may have it, I think. But definitely my mom did not. But my mom smoked while she was pregnant. And so I'm like, I wonder if that was the trigger there. So the one of the things she very much stressed for me as a child, she would always make me to-do lists. And she would say, here, I'm giving you a list of things to do that I expect to be done by the time I come back from work. When I get home, I want these things done. So she would give me a list of things to do, especially when I was little and learning how, to live. And so I would have chores around the house. So one of my chores, which is now my husband's chore in this house, is to empty the little small trash cans. So last week I had a little to-do list that I made for myself. And I have done this since I was a child. Make my own to-do list. These are the things I want to accomplish for the day. This helps me stay organized and focused on what I need to do. Now, I do the list in any order that I feel like doing it in. But I will do the list and make sure I got everything together that I need to get together and get done. My husband also, because my husband has ADHD, my husband has it pretty moderately to severe. But he has learned coping mechanisms and strategies for himself. And I try to include them in our house because you have two individuals in here who probably, I know one of them does, and one other probably does too. So knowing that, I try to provide some structure in the house so that it helps both of us. Okay. So I try to give him, I tell him, I'm giving you this to-do list so that we get these things done. This is my to-do list for the day. These are the things I would like to get done. So like tomorrow, we have to go to the grocery store because today is a holiday, so it's probably not open. And I'd already gone to the grocery store for main groceries anyway, and for our stuff for today. So I said, well, we'll go to the grocery store, but I gotta go get some other stuff for the house. So that's one of the things on the to-do list. We need to record probably a podcast, I think, for Gaming Insurrection. And there was something else I wanted to do specifically before we got out in the street and we did fun things in the street. So, such as paying bills. That's also a thing. You having to remember to do stuff like that. So one of my, like on my to-do list, especially if we're around the house and I'm trying to clean up the house, I split up the chores. So I give him certain things and I do certain things. So one of my chores, the other day we were cleaning up, I wanted him to vacuum, but one of my chores was I was going to clean up the bathroom. So that's what I did. I cleaned the bathroom while he was vacuuming. And then I washed my clothes because we wash clothes separately now. We do laundry separately from each other. So I washed my clothes, and I did wash some of his because I needed to fill out a load. So I was like, give me all your whites and I'll go wash my, because I have one white thing and I'm not washing just one white thing. That's not happening. So give me all of the rest of your whites. And he had a bunch anyway, so it worked out. But we split up chores like that so that it's not overwhelming. Somebody can focus on one task while the other one's focused on the other task, and we get this done sooner. So, but learning how to do that sort of thing with to-do lists and things. So I have to-do lists at the house. I have to-do lists at work because otherwise I would never get anything accomplished. I would always be constantly trying to figure out what I should be doing next. And so I tried to check in, and that was one of my things I pointed out in my EPMS with my managers, my senior managers. I said, I like to make to-do lists, and they noted that too. I have to-do lists. I have my own to-do list, and I do try to incorporate it in with the engagement. Um, but it helps me stay on task. So anything that helps me stay on task and get things accomplished and done, we're good. Like I say, I keep it, especially when I work at the house and I don't have people distracting me, I'm good. I can do all my work and get them done. Get everything done. So, yes. EPMS went good. So we'll see. I'm going to see because I have a to-do list for next week. And they noted that I will be doing that next week. So I have a to-do list for next week, and my staff knows that we have a to-do list also. So we're gonna be talking about it and discussing it. We'll see. Nothing else going on though. On the home front, nothing going on. Husband is well. He is working today. He had to work today. It's the 4th of July. So he had to work today, which is great because he finna get that time and a half for the holiday. We are both off this weekend coming up, so we might go. I'm probably gonna go makeup shopping, and then I don't know. We might go out to Second and Charles maybe and see what they got out there. See if I can get some more Funko Pops. I just got a bunch of Funko Pops from a friend in my MK group who is getting rid of his collection. So he sent me a bunch. And I have put them on my desk because that's where I put all of my Funko Pops. I don't have them here at the house because I don't have space for them here. And I'm starting to run out of space at work. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to have to slow down buying these now. So, but he sent me like 4 of them. 3 of them I requested, and the 4th one he kind of slipped in as a surprise. And I was like, no, why you sent me this one? What you sent me this for? I ain't nobody asked for him, but fine. We do not discriminate. And thank you for the gift. So he is also on the desk. But he sent me a bunch of Mortal Kombat Funko Pops. And I already had 2 because I bought a Raiden a long time ago, and then I just found a MK11 Scorpion, and I was like, yay, I want this one because I want Scorpion. And so then he sent me classic Sub-Zero. He sent me Katana, MK11 Katana, and MK1 Melina. And then he sent me Cole. He sent me Cole, the character Cole from the MK 2021 movie. And I was like, why you sent me that for? But like I say, we don't discriminate, and I'm very appreciative of the gift. So he's going to go on the desk too. He's part of the lore. He's part of the lore. So we're going to keep him. So yeah, I did get a couple of new Funko Pops. I gotten a few other ones too. I think I got Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, and trying to think who else did I get recently. Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse. I got somebody else Marvel because I got a bunch of Marvel ones. And I put all the Marvel people together. And then other work bestie gave me a Loki one that I was wanting from Avengers. And then husband gave me a Loki. He gave me 2 of the same Loki. President Loki from the Loki TV show. So season 1. Yeah, I got some Marvel ones recently. And I can't remember who else I got though. I know I got Apocalypse, and I know I got Apocalypse and Mr. Sinister recently. Because I especially wanted Apocalypse. I have to go see what I have now. But yeah, I got a bunch of Funko Pops. So yeah, no, we might go buy some. We might go buy some Funko Pops. I don't know. I know I'm going to go buy makeup because they got they have a skincare sale going at Ulta, and it's the brand that I use. They got a 30% off Neutrogena um skincare thing going on. So I'm like, I need skincare. Uh Husband does too. So with all the makeup that I wear, yeah, I need skincare stuff. And I very much take care of my skin, especially with the amount of makeup I wear. So yes, and I try to have a good skincare routine, and so does he. So as you can see too, you guys can't really see all that well, but I am wearing some makeup. I have on lip gloss right now. So I'm not wearing lipstick or anything, but I have on eyeshadow and I have on liner and some mascara because I did a video for the beauty haul, which is my one of my series where I detail my purchases for budget beauty. So I used some of those purchases and then I talked about them this morning. So I was like, well, I need to look nice for camera. So here we are. Not too much else going on. I'm trying to think, is there anything else going on? I don't think there's too much else going on. We are planning for our 5-year anniversary. We're starting now. We're planning for our 5-year anniversary now. So 5-year wedding anniversary is next year in April. So April 2026. So we are going to do something special. Possibly we are talking about doing, taking some professional photos with our photographer that we used for our engagement photos. We're going to try to do, some photos with her baby. I don't know why I keep yawning. I got plenty of sleep. Trying to think. What else are we doing? We're gonna dress up. I was gonna get, and so we've been talking about colors. Do we want to reverse the colors that we had the first time? Because the first for our wedding stuff, I wore green dress. You guys have seen my wedding photos. I wore green dress and he wore a gold suit. So I'm thinking we might want to do. I might want to get a gold dress and he wear a green suit. So I don't know. We may not do that. We may do different colors. 5-year, the 5th wedding anniversary colors apparently are like blue and turquoise and pink. And I was like, oh, I did not know. I knew gold was associated with like the 50th. Like I knew that. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay, maybe we might do that. We'll see. So I don't know. We haven't made a concrete decision on what we're doing, but we'll probably go somewhere fancy. We'll do the photos because we have to save up for a party. So because we've been talking about doing reception, and I was like, are we going to do our reception? We're going to have a party, for renewing vows and do all of that. Are we going to do that at year 5 or are we going to wait? And I think we're going to wait because in order to have the party that I want and get everybody there, we got a lot of people who want to come. So that's probably like his family by itself, like 90 something people, almost 100 people. So he has a large family. So we are talking about doing that, but you got to save up money for that. So it's just like planning your reception when you got married. So we just don't have like a bridal party and all of that. So I'm thinking about possibly, I don't know, thinking about possibly, and maybe when we renew our vows, I don't know, maybe we might do a wedding party. I don't know. I was thinking we don't need a wedding party because we're already married. So all we're doing is renewing vows, and you can do that anywhere. And you don't need an officiant because you're already married. So, but I was wanting to get our pastor who actually did do our ceremony. I was wanting to get her to come in and bless the vows and, talk about the fact that, we originally sat down with her for premarital counseling, and she did marry us. It took a year, between the last session and then the session that we finished up with, and then her marrying us. It took a year, because pandemic, but she did in fact marry us. Um, and the fact that we made it that far, and that, we are we made it and we're still married. And that we're happy, that we're happy together. So, that it's a miracle we made it that far, and one of us didn't die. So, because one of us is super high risk for COVID. So that's why I'm like, with COVID symptoms and, illness, severe illness and death. So the fact that we made it this far, and that, we're a happy couple, our home is a happy one. That I would love for her to be able to come in and do something with that. So we'd have to coordinate with her and see what she can do, and figure out what we're going to do. So I don't know. I mean, she's not absolutely necessary, but I would like for her to be there. She was instrumental, and she was very supportive of us. So, and she's also the pastor of our church. Like, I joined the church after. So, and I know I mentioned this 4 years ago, that I joined the church after we got married, like 3 weeks after we got married. So, and I'm still a member. We don't physically go to services. We watch online. Because I'm just now getting to the point where I want to go to, where I'm starting to think about going back to the gym and going to church physically. So like this Sunday, we would maybe consider going to church, maybe. But like physically going. And my point was, and I have so many issues with my mother-in-law, but, one of them is she insists upon trying to guilt trip, and she's weird anyway. So let's just start there. She's weird and really obnoxious. But one of the things she insists upon trying to insert her opinion and press her will on is, well, y'all really should start going back to, physically going to church. I'm like, that's not your call to make. Let's just start there. Before you even finish that sentence, good. That's not your call to make. Stay in your lane. Worry about whether or not you're going to church or not. Also, we watch virtually. I am not for physically going into a church. I don't feel comfortable in doing that. He does not either. That's up to him. And I've always told him, if he wanted to physically go, he can go. He can go at any time. Now that things have calmed down significantly, I'm okay with him going to church. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Again, like I say, we're talking about trying to go back to the gym. The gym was one of the last places where I was like, okay, we might want to think about holding off on doing that for a while until we can figure out what our comfort level is, and we can gauge how okay it would be for us to physically go. Because if one of us goes to the gym, gets COVID and brings it home, well, that defeats the purpose of us trying not to get COVID. Okay? Because we live in the same house. If one of us gets it, both of us gets it. And that has been the case both times we've had it. So that's why I'm like, church is, you are literally, and the reason why church is a problem, we already immediately know why going to the gym is a problem. A lot of huffing and puffing and inhaling and exhaling and doing all of that. But at church, same issue. A lot of inhaling, exhaling. You're talking, you're singing. People are around you are singing. Then they try to space it out. I noticed my church has been great about that. They try to space it out. And for a minute there, they were requiring people to wear masks. They have since calmed that down, which, okay, that's cool. That's a reasonable expectation at this point in the COVID game. That's a reasonable expectation. But I noticed they do spread people out a little bit more. They're like, please don't be all up underneath each other in the pews. Okay, cool. So that's why I'm like, okay, I can feel reasonably assured that if I go to church, I won't get sick. Okay. If I do get sick, now that's on me at that point. But before, you couldn't help that. People were, you didn't know who was sick, who wasn't, who was, like asymptomatic carrier, all of that. So there was no way you could be guaranteed that you weren't going to get sick. So just like let that calm down and then we can start talking about that. And they have very much eased back into the decision. They did. They eased into the decision. They wasn't one of them ones that was immediately, oh, we got to go back to church. So I'm very okay with probably going back physically. Okay. Therein lies my problem, though. My mother-in-law is doing all this yip yapping and carrying on. And I'm like, please shut the hell up. Because you need to be worried about your attendance at church. Be worried about what you are getting at when you are going to church. Make sure you paying attention to the message, because she's talking to you. Okay. She's talking to all of us, but she's especially talking to you. Because you're the type who stay minding other people's business and being extremely judgmental. So there was this yip yapping about, well, pastor, pastor was looking for you. People are looking for y'all at church. People ain't looking for us at no church. They already know what the deal is. They been know what the deal is. Pastor already knows what the deal is. They offer online services. There are quite a few people in our church who still use. So I'm like, that's how I know you just making stuff up to have something to say. Because you want to know why we aren't going to church physically. And on top of that, you wanted to use it as an excuse to be performative and weird. And I ain't got time for all that. Get out of my face. And I don't play about church anyway. I'm already doing good to be going to church. Like watching it online. I'm doing great to do that. Okay. What I'm not going to do is allow you to come in here and try to impose your will and impress your will. I don't care what you want to do with church. That's your business. But you're not doing it in this house. I know that. So that is also why she doesn't like me. Part of the reason why she doesn't like me is because I have basically intimated. Because as soon as she said it, I was like, and? We watch online and that's good enough for me. Like, I mean, what you want me to do? Because I'm not finna do what you want. I can tell you that. You can go find a short pier and jump all the way off of it. It's like, I do not like my mother-in-law whatsoever. I do not. She is quite possibly the most annoying person on the face of this. There's a lot of annoying people. I say that as I live in America. There are a lot of annoying people right now. Right now. There's a lot of annoying people, but she takes the cake. In my personal life and people that I physically, like I know personally, yeah, she's quite possibly the most annoying. Well, the other people that would be annoying, I just don't deal with them. I don't deal with her, but we Joker wave it away. So I don't fool with it. But with her, I just ignore her most of the time. And then she like to get a little crazy and try to push the boundary that I've set. And then I have to very gently or not so gently remind her that I'm not her child, for one. And two, fuck you thought this was. Your opinion doesn't count for anything. And on top of that, my husband gonna do what I tell him to do. He ain't doing what his mama tell him to do because he married to me. And he lived with me and he got to come home to me. And that's of his choice and of his doing. So if I tell him to do something, it will be done the way I want it to be done. And it's what we decide together because we are the married couple here. So sometimes you got to remind folks who you are. But that's part of the reason why she doesn't like me. I'm very strong-willed. This is obviously not my first rodeo, and I don't take no guff. Get out of here with that. Girl, bye. No. and I will not hesitate to be, no, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. You can do all the yapping you want to do, but behind the scenes, I'm going to do what I want to do. And what I direct to be done and have done is what will be done. And you still gonna just be mad about it over there. And you're gonna stay over there with that. You're not coming over here with that. So yeah, I don't I just don't pay her any attention. It pisses her off, but she'll be all right. So two, we are going to get into eventually we're going to get into the saga that was my sister-in-law getting married and my husband and the tuxedo of doom. We are going to get into that saga because this involves, as usual, it involves my mother-in-law and it involves my weird ass father-in-law, and some foolishness on both of their parts. But suffice to say, I'm super happy that my sister-in-law got married. I'm very excited for her, very, very excited for her in her new journey and her role as a wife and the fact that they're happy. She's a good person. She's a really nice girl and I like her a lot. So I very much was excited for her, very happy for her. Super happy to go to the wedding, finally be done with finding something to wear, and because that was a whole saga with me trying to find a dress and making sure I was within the dress code that she asked for. And you know, if it had been anybody else, I might have just been like, girl, that's not, whatever you want, that's not my problem. I don't care. But because she asked and she's a good person and I like her a lot. I do. I really like her a lot. I said, you know, let me get started now so that we will be on point with whatever it is we're doing and we will be within the dress code that she asked for. So we did. I did find a dress and it was a nice, pretty dress. It's a very gorgeous dress. So yes, I'm fine with the wedding and, you know, having, but it was the surrounding drama that didn't even involve her. She didn't even know it was probably going on. Which was good. The bride is not supposed to be troubled on her wedding day with foolishness with the family. There should be none of that. She should be so far removed from any of that. She shouldn't even know it was happening. And I hope she didn't, because her daddy was out here wilding. Like, her daddy was wilding. So I was just like, we're going to get through this wedding. We're going to get home. And after that, what you choose to do with your daddy is your business, but you talk to your daddy and you get him together and you get him right together, because I don't want no more of this foolishness. I am at the point now where I'm putting my foot down and I am making my wishes known. I don't want no more, no bullshitting and no foolishness involving my mother and father-in-law. I do not have the patience for it. I ain't got the time for it. I don't want to deal with it because I shouldn't have to. I'm too grown for this. I'm too old and I'm tired. Okay. Listen, this is also not my first time at the rodeo, and I would like for us to not have to go through the same foolishness and bullshitting and fuckery that we went through in the first marriage. I do not want dealing with my in-laws. I do not want to have to deal with that again. So I'm tired of talking. As Miss Shauna the barber says, I'm tired of talking. Okay? I am tired of talking. My husband is a husband of God. Okay? So what I need these two people to do is calm down, find a lane, get in it, and stay in it. And it need to not be the lane I'm in. Like, I'm too grown for this, and I'm too old for this. I don't have, my mama is dead, and my daddy might as well be dead. So, listen, I don't need Heckle and Jekyll over here messing things up. I don't. I need them to fall back, and I need them to know their place. So, when I do my next episode, I am going to remind myself that I said in this episode that we are going to talk about the wedding foolishness. Now, maybe I might do that episode. I don't know. Maybe in a couple weeks or so. But we're gonna talk about it because it was some straight up foolishness. Anyway, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Say we don't have too much going on coming up. My birthday has passed. I had a good birthday. We good old birthday. So my my cycle showed up on my birthday. I can't remember if I talked about the fact that it was doing weird stuff. It showed up on my birthday 2 days early. So I was like, but I had a good birthday otherwise. So now we're mid-July. And I think so the next thing coming up would be his birthday. So yeah, there is that. So I'm already trying to get some ideas together about what I want to get him and think about his birthday gifts and try to get some stuff ordered now because some of it has like a 2-week period of it's circling in some other place and then it takes 2 weeks to get here. And I'm like, so I need to order it well before his birthday is the key here. So I would like to do it now and get it so that way he has his gift well in advance. So I want to thank y'all for watching as usual. We've done more episodes in season 5 in the last couple of months than we have in the last couple of years. So I don't know. We're probably about halfway through season 5. I think I want to do probably about 15 episodes in season 5, and we're about halfway through at this point. So yeah, we'll see. I'll try to have some more episodes coming up. Maybe do an episode a month. I might do that and see if I can get a regular schedule going. Sometimes like I say, we don't have stuff going on and stuff just doesn't happen. So I don't really have anything to talk about. That's what happens when you have a very boring life and you don't have drama anymore. So thank the goddesses. So I do want to thank y'all for watching and sticking with me and trying to come back and keep up with me and see what's going on in my life. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more episodes later. Deuces.